comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, good afternoon. Oh, lots of meowing going on around here. A lot of meowing. Driving home in my car. Don't have to drive fast. I ain't going far. I just made that song up. What? All right, come here. Come here. Come here, Bobcat. No, I don't have a topic. I couldn't think of any kind of topic. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. It's just, I don't know, man. I get this feeling that I haven't said what needs to be said today. Yeah, you agree? Do you agree? You should do. You should do. What we got here? District 11 workshop. District 11 workshop. Is that tonight? Let's find out. So the District 11 workshop, which we are in. No, I'm not. Dragon's Den. What is CPC? How to get started. So their conduct panel presentations. Why are you licking my ear? Join us for an engaging discussion on building bridges with professional community. Hey, they're doing something here. Good job. Good job. Good job, District 11. Right on. Right on. Saying how can we cooperate with the professionals so we can help more people in AA? Absolutely. I'm about that all day long. In fact, that might be a good meeting for me to go to. When is it? Watch, it's gonna be like tomorrow. All right. Presented by your District 11 CPC, March 15th. So learn how to connect with professionals such as attorneys, physicians, medical students, therapists, and HR professionals to share what AA can and cannot do to help their clients, patients, and employees. It is about time Colorado got in on the H&I. About time. We thought Bridge the Gap was H&I, but it's not. In fact, kind of wish they would shut Bridge the Gap down. They'd Bridge the Gap. What it is you meet somebody at treatment and then you take them to wherever they're going, and it's a very innovative way to help. All right. But here's the problem. Maybe they're going to drive them to their first AA. Like, you are not their sponsor. You are not this. It's not, it doesn't quite sit right. Not only that, but the program is easily abused. And it is easily abused by recovery coaches. There are a bunch of recovery coaches that are part of it, and they're not in AA. Okay? And they're going to body broker these people. Yes, they are, under the guise of being a part of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, we have no outside, we don't have any say-so on outside issues, right? So I don't think that's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about what I think might be wrong. No thanks. Oh, Kitty. It's been kind of a weird last week. Oh no. I don't know if I've changed, if other things have changed, but even I was just talking to my therapist about Um, I kind of brought this up earlier, and please take this as a general thing. It's just something I'm thinking about. Is because quite often I'll say that my parents did the best that they could, right? And I believe that. Okay, but I say that so that I can reach a point for forgiveness and acceptance, so I can move on. But it ain't the truth. It's not it. That's not quite the truth, because maybe there's a fear that I'll say something, and maybe something from my past will feel bad about that. And that's not really my problem. I know I sound kind of like a dick. Here's the thing. You know, growing up, I saw how, and it wasn't it, my mom was an alcoholic. Well, she still is. She's 42 years sober, has contributed a shit ton to this community. She was too busy drinking, so I didn't really see her too much until I was about 13, and then she became very involved in our lives. But before that, it was really up to the man that raised us. And I always noticed how he would talk and treat all the other kids much differently than me. And I would see him put the kind of effort into other things, including other relationships that weren't me. So was he really doing the best that he could with me? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Okay. And I am certainly willing to forgive, and so that I can move on myself. Absolutely. Okay. Now, the thing is once we realize that maybe we've done some wrong, or maybe we didn't do the best that we could. Okay. I'm going to go back and use me now. Okay. I was an absentee father for until I was about 40. And even then, I mean, my drinking was on a rampage. I got sober at 45. So my kids, they kind of grew up. My When I came back, my son was 16. My daughter, I believe, was 12. Okay. Seems like I have some things off here. I have to remember I have almost 9 years of sobriety. That's been a decade since I've been sober. That throws me off a little bit, right? Did I do the best that I could? Again, the answer is no. The answer is no. I did not do the best that I could. I knew that I shouldn't be drinking. I knew I shouldn't have been doing all those things. I knew it. And that's the hard part. I made a fucking choice, man. I made a choice to go back out. I made a choice to not go to AA meetings anymore. I made the choice of chasing skirts. I made those choices, man. Right? And they were the wrong choices. So I would have to say, if I was being honest with myself, was I doing the best that I could even while drinking? No, I did not. Um, when I have alcohol in me, I would say the closest thing that I did to doing the best that I could was by being away, because I was so inconsistent that I didn't want to hurt them week after week after week, that I wasn't going to be there. It was just better to know that dad wasn't going to be there. Yeah. These are hard facts to face, man. They're hard facts. Okay. Now, and this took me a long time, but I had to do a lot of work. But I had to go through a process of forgiving myself. I had to go through a process of figuring out why. and what was going on with me, and correct those things. Do I do the best that I can do now? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Even when I'm wrong. But I had to go back and face that. So the difficulty I'm having is this, that maybe there are some people in my life that are very aware of what they did also, but why can they not stand up? Why can they not stand up and say, I have the courage to admit this to your face and that I am much better? Because see, I couldn't really become that better person until I realized what exactly I had done and that I did not put in my best efforts and that I fell quite short of being what I thought would be a good father. Right. Now, granted, I'm not that person today, thank you, God. And I think that's where the difference lies. I really truly do. You know, um, I felt God's forgiveness. I mean, I felt the alleviation. I felt the alleviation. And what that did is it gave me enough courage to stand up and say, no, I fucked all this stuff up and it is not going to happen again. It is not going to. And yes, I want to do that part for my kids. I want to do that, but I had to do it for me so I could become better. You know, it's something that I try every day to do is just be a better person. Sometimes it's with my kids, sometimes it's this. Um, I have a fear right now. My daughter is getting ready to move in with her mother, and I'm not going to go into my fears because they're going to sound like shit talk against my ex, and I'm yeah, nah. Um, there's some fears there, but yeah, and they were kind of allayed by my therapist because she because I did approach my daughter and I said, "Hey, I was wrong. Even about a lot of things in sobriety, I was wrong about some things." And I had to really listen. And I had to put it wouldn't have happened unless I got to a point where I was able to put my own guilt and shame aside. Because it was already hard enough to listen to my daughter bawl her fucking eyes out because of me. That I abused that relationship, that her dad wasn't there. Granted, I'm there now, okay? But that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't mean that the debt is done. No. Mm-mm. See, I still got impressionable grandchildren, and they need to know. Hi, Ingrid. They need to know that it's okay to be themselves, right? See, I was an odd child, and so are my grandchildren. Okay, the ones that are directly related to me. Oh, they're no, they got my crazy. I'm just gonna call it that because you understand what I'm saying. I'm not crazy. Well, I am, but not in the sense of people usually think, right? That it's okay to express yourself in our family, that that we can talk the truth. Um, my daughter and I, we have a very open relationship now, and not open like people. That's the wrong word because then people take shit wrong because life has become disgustingly sexual about everything. It's just it annoys me that everything has to be sexualized or tampered with or mutilated and shit. Sorry, my brain's is thinking about too many philosophy things at once. Um, but it was nice to hear that you know that I'm the good example. Not saying that my ex-wife is a bad example, but that I can be a good example. That I see my kids following my lead. I watch them, from the time that my son and my stepdaughter moved in, and their son. At first it was tough, but a lot of times I go upstairs now and it's clean, things are put together, they're figuring it out. And it's because they've been watching me do it down here. Every now and again I'll go up and organize for, oh, that works, and things like that. Um, but that would have never happened if I wouldn't have turned around and admitted, I'm not necessarily, I'm willing to forgive, but I'm not willing to let people off the hook if they haven't decided to become a better person. That one's kind of hard for me. And yes, I am talking about my parents. Right? And they may not like that, you know, but it is not my problem anymore if they were bad parents. It's not my problem. That's a hard place to get to. It's a hard place to get to. You know, um, I have a great relationship with my mom now. I, it's certainly much better than it used to be. But it just seems like the generation that came before us, and I don't want to say boomers, but boomers, just they didn't capture the emotional sobriety part. They didn't seem to grasp that portion, right? I didn't even hear about emotional sobriety, and I was very aware of emotional sobriety, but the way Bill wrote it really really captured me because I have troublesome depressions myself, right? And um, and I see a lot of people starting to utilize it more, and thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, newer generations for understanding that it's it's okay to feel. It's okay to state your feelings in an appropriate manner. You know, um, I want my kids to be able to come to me about anything. Right? That's what I want. It's not what happens. They usually go to Shannon first, which works. I mean, if that's the way the process needs to go, and she usually softens the blow for me, right? I mean, fuck, my kids sat me down one day. They weren't even old enough to buy cigarettes yet. Tell me how they both might be pregnant. They weren't. But to even hear that, anyway, that was a long time ago, too long ago. You know, but a lot of this, I'm not even sure where I'm going with everything. I just I had this feeling that I needed to go live one more time and just kind of start talking. Um, you can do these things too. It is possible. All right. But it's going to take a while, you know. Um, I hurt my daughter pretty bad, and I'm not going to say that full trust is there yet. That's not for me to determine. That is up to her. Okay, and she probably did. Well, clearly she doesn't because she goes to Shannon first, which is fine. It's fine with me. Because we still end up talking about what we need to talk about. Um, and I'm proud of them for making changes. But it scares me that my daughter is going to move back in with my ex-wife because there's some things there, like shit talk about grandpa. That's what I'm talking about. The need to get pregnant and married so that you feel secure in your life. That's a big one for me. Um, you know, that I got to remember that when my daughter was growing up, she didn't have a positive male influence in her life. She didn't have somebody that said, "No, this is how you're to be treated." She didn't see me treating her mother with any kind of respect either. right? Yeah, right. Absolutely true, right? So, you know, all I can really do in that situation is support what my daughter wants to do, or actually kind of needs to do. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll be a good thing. Maybe it'll help open the eyes of my ex-wife, and she can become a better person. Because I didn't marry her because she was all bad. No, no, she's highly intelligent. Highly intelligent. I probably had some of my best conversations with that woman. Absolutely. You know, um, definitely, definitely better friends than husband and wife. That I'll agree with, right? But it's always been really easy for her and I to just talk, and we'll talk about 10 different things at the same time, so that kind of kept up with me intellectually that way. She's got a knack for certain things. She's got some good answers, but there's a part that's just holding her back, right? And I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not about to make a judgment. Um, and I was able to talk to my daughter about these things, and we had a really good talk. But the neat thing was this, and this is kind of what I didn't realize it because I told her I had some fears, and so I explained what my fears were, and I could see her brain thinking for an answer, and I'm like, honey, you don't need to answer that. You don't need to. You don't need. I'm not asking you to solve this problem. This is my own problem. You don't need to solve it. That's not your responsibility. And the relief. That's what I caught. I caught the relief. My therapist pointed out that she's like, do you see what you did there? What you did is you kind of set an example that she'll follow when she goes over there. And maybe that'll kind of carry on. Oh, okay. Well, see, I can do that, can't I? I can be cordial. Sure, I can. You know, my ex-wife has had to put up with a lot of my fucking shenanigans. Maybe it's my turn. You know, I do believe that people can change. I absolutely 100% believe, because otherwise I'd just be a fake piece of shit, and my sobriety would mean nothing. Everything, everything that I do in the community and the effort that I put into meetings and helping other people would mean it was nothing because it would be bullshit. But I did actually change, and I changed out loud in front of my kids. They watched me suffer, and there are times when we talk, and I'm like, "You remember when Dad used to do this?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You remember how it didn't work for me? Don't, in that case, don't do what I did. Take the bad example and don't do it." Right? So, and and this stuff means a lot to me because I never thought I was suited to be a father. I didn't want kids. I married my first wife because she said, "Oh, I can't have kids." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, good," because I don't know that I should have kids. And I have four. Two of them are Shannon's, okay, from previous marriage. Right? But they're still my kids. I don't, and even more on top of that, their dad passed. Well, so our oldest daughter, she has a different dad who she is in connection with now, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's doing the right thing. Good on him, right? Um, the second one down, that was her biological father, but he raised them both. He raised them both, and he passed away about 3 weeks ago. Um, and I'm not sure what to do with that. I mean, I'm sad the guy's gone. Absolutely, I am. We didn't argue. I never argued with that guy. You know, um, he had some mental health issues, which were way beyond his control. schizophrenia, right? So there was a lot of tolerance, and even when it came to the child support, we knew he wasn't going to be able to make the payment. We lied. We said, "Oh yeah, he paid it." Actually, I think we called him like a year later. What? Oh, he paid it all off. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. Okay, great. Because my experience was if he didn't make that, what they would do is take away his privilege to leave the country, which I thought was unfair. They would take away his driver's license and then possibly put him in jail. And he would not survive something like that. And to tell you now, the Jefferson County, they don't give a fuck about your shit. And we weren't going to put him in that position. But to go back, now I feel this bigger responsibility. But is it, am I just telling myself that? Am I just saying that so that, for my own ego, for my own pride? Yeah, I'm not sure. But I do know that I'm going to have to step up again. And I'm kind of scared because, like I said earlier, I didn't even think I was going to be a very good father. I don't even know if I'm a good father sometimes. We get that doubt, man. I get the same doubts. It's like, am I really a good father? But then my kids turn around and say something. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, hey, you know. So, yeah. Let's do a reading from the big book. Maybe we should just go to the 12 by 12 and open it. But not that one. But all alcoholics who have drunk themselves out of jobs, family, and friends will need to cross-examine themselves ruthlessly to determine. We've been doing a lot of step 4 and 5 around here lately. Let's go to step 8. We already read that. See, I think I'm doing. I think I'm just reaching because I feel unsatisfied, but it probably isn't the truth. If that makes sense. I don't know. You know what? Let's do this. This is a good one. That's just 417 in the big book. Most of you know what that is. It's acceptance. There it is. I have a funny story about the word acceptance. My mom worked at Detox. My mom and her husband Roger. It's actually where they met. They met in Detox. They were working there, not clients. Right? They were both sober over a year before they got together. There was no well, back then step 13 didn't mean the same thing. It meant you died sober. But they had brought in a stray cat that lived there, and they named the cat Acceptance. So whenever something was going on, you would have to go find the cat. You'd have to go find some acceptance. Right? And I always thought it was such a great idea. Number one, that it was called acceptance. Number two, it put effort into acceptance because acceptance in and of itself requires action, or it's not acceptance, it's awareness, right? So awareness is the thing, but acceptance is going to require some action on my part. So I'm going to start on page 416. It helped me a great deal to become convinced that alcoholism was a disease, not a moral issue. I just saw an ad thing that says alcoholism is not a disease. I like that. And I said, I'm like, what I hear is denial, and that is dangerous talk here. Anyway, not a moral issue. That I've been drinking as a result of a compulsion, even though I had not been aware of the compulsion at the time. And that sobriety was not a matter of willpower. The people of AA had something that looked much better than what I had, but I was afraid to let go of what I had in order to try something new. There was a certain sense of security in the familiar. I get that. I stayed in my illness for a long time because it was familiar. At last, acceptance proved to be the key to my drinking problem. Hmm. After I'd been around AA for 7 months, tapering off alcohol and pills, not finding the program working very well. Well, here's part of the problem. Here's kind of part of the problem. Well, welcome back. Probably because you were on the way to the school and the school cuts me off. Oh, because you're out in the boonies, right? So it says here, after I've been around AA for 7 months, tapering off alcohol and pills, not finding the program working very well. Well, you are on alcohol and pills and it's not going to work. You cannot work the program. It needs to be abstinence. Okay. So that'd be part of it. But anyway, I was finally able to say, okay, God, it is true that I, of all people, strange as it may seem, and even though I didn't give my permission, really, really am an alcoholic of sorts. And it's all right with me. See, that provided some action there. And it's all right with me now. I'm okay with it. I don't want to be okay. You don't have to be necessarily okay with it, but it helps. We have to get you a satellite connection. It said you were here the whole time. So now what am I going to do about it? When I stopped living in the problem and began living in the answer, the problem went away. From that moment, I have not had a single compulsion to drink. And that's a lot of what I've been talking about, that I was living in the problem. I was living in my parents' problems. And I was accepting them as fact and real, when really they weren't my problems. Okay. So anytime I hear somebody say, oh, I don't have codependency issues, and they're in the program, like, oh, fuck, you do. They may not be as glaring as mine, but you got them. All right. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. And I can find no security until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Do you know who makes me angry? Anyone I allow. It sucks. I don't want it to be that way. But I've accepted that it is mine. It's got to be mine. Because once I accept it as my own, then I can do something about it. Because I can't change those people. I can be a good example and hope that they find their higher power too. Because that's really all I want for you. See, I found my higher power. Now my life is beautiful, and I want the same for you. I definitely want the same for my children. Absolutely. Maybe it's time to have Kira back on the show. Yeah. Maybe I'll ask her to do that this weekend. Maybe I should just take the grandkids this weekend. Okay. Maybe next. I got Dr. Shannon first. Actually, I don't. I can watch the kids all by myself. They're not that hard. These two are hard. In fact, last time they were over, Shannon was in California, and they came over, pretty much played with their cousin the whole time. Their mom came, picked them up, came, grabbed them, and she's like, "Well, did you have fun?" I'm like, I only saw him for like 10 minutes. And it was true. I didn't see him very much. I let them do what they want to do. Then she's like, did you not watch a movie with your grandpa? I'm like, they're good. They'll remember me, but I remember, a lot of time with my cousins, and I have to think of my grandson too, who isn't around a lot of kids. So, he doesn't get much of a chance either. So I wasn't really thinking of them. I was thinking of him. So when the things are unacceptable to me, I am allowing this. Yeah. And I'm saying this in a broad stroke. Okay. If we got into specifics, yes, we could find some things that you can drive someone crazy. You can make someone paranoid. I was just talking to, I used to do, all right, this was the situation. There was one kid, he picked on me a lot, a lot. And when I discovered alcohol at 13 and became a different person, what I would do is I would sneak out at night, okay? And I would go, I'd wait for the sprinklers to come on, and then I'd kick a sprinkler head, okay? No big deal. Oh, must have fallen off, da 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 da. Right? But then you come home a week later and your power is off. So you go check the the fuse box, and all of it's been manually turned off. Now we're getting okay. Then a few weeks later, you just got done fixing that water spigot, and I kick it again. And what I did, my revenge was, you fucked with me, I fucked with your whole family. And I was that deceptive. My brain still does that shit. It goes on these revenge kicks. Yeah. And it's nasty and very thought out. Right? So, yeah, we could get into that, but generally it is because I am allowing it. I am allowing it. Now, the thing is, I need to get to a point where everything, I'm not going to find serenity or peace of mind unless I get to a point where everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be in God's world right now. It is the only way Dion will find serenity. Nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, I couldn't stay sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. And that is true. That is true. See, this is God's world and it's perfect. It's not my world. Wayne's World, Wayne's World. Party on, excellent. um, is it the way I want it? No. Now I'm going to use acceptance to move on from that so I can find peace of mind. Why is it important that I find peace of mind? Because when I have that, the connection to God is immense, and that will carry on. It will carry on. It will carry on. It will carry through to my wife, to my kids, to my friends, to my grandkids, to my mother, to my brothers and sisters. You know, God's given me a lot of courage. A lot of courage. I needed it. You know, I'll give you an example. I didn't know what I was going to talk about coming on here. Well, there's people that kind of rely on me. That's scary shit. You try going live with no topic. Try it. It's hard. All right. But I've been trying to challenge myself to do harder things. And this was kind of one of those situations where I'm like, well, that's going to be kind of hard to do. I'm like, and that's exactly why you should do it. Yeah. I need to concentrate not so much what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. All right. 40 minutes, no topic. I think that's pretty good. I'm feeling satisfied now. So apparently something came out of my mouth at some point that helps somebody else or will help somebody else. God gives me those little intuition things. And that's what happens when you're connected with God. Your intuition becomes, I don't know, like a second sight. It's a sixth sense. Yeah. You know, I've been watching this show called Poker Face. Great show. Great show. And what it is this lady's a human lie detector. And it doesn't work the way, she doesn't always know if you're lying or what you're lying about or anything like that. But it's just real interesting because there's a lot of times I'm listening to somebody, I'm like, you're lying. You are lying right now. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know why I know that, but I know that they are. weird. All right. And then she solves these murders and stuff. It's an interesting show. It's an interesting show. It's on Peacock. I'm a little mad at Peacock because they're like, okay, here's our premium no ad service, but every show, and then they're like, but some of our premium shows, like the ones that's got, those will have out. Poker Face been out for 2 years, still got ads. They're lying. They're lying. It's bullshit. See, another lie. All right. Fucking liars. Now I can't tout that I've seen every Law and Order because there's some sitting there and I'm just not willing to sit through the commercials. At least let me fast forward through them. All right. All right. Now I'm just bitching about life. Wah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Amber. Thank you, Ingrid, for hanging out. I appreciate it. I know I can always count on you too. So thank you. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.